a dot appears. A line is a dot, many dots, consecutive dots, and dots become a line. Dots of lines follow intent, and lines marry lines. Melded and melted, an image appears, a stroke, an action, a movement directed towards an idea. Something appears from nothing. What the f*** is art? I want to make something like that. At the start of creation lies this fundamental idea. At some point in all of our creative pursuits, we've all shared the idea, I want to make something like. And it inspires us to try to replicate it in some way, often hopelessly failing, yet we manage to create something uniquely our own from another's. But mine does not resemble the other. The other is much better than mine, and why is it that I can only do it my way and not the other way? Closely grabbing but always falling short, never reaching the other. Art is a meaningless act. If the world were to return to its primitive ways of living, art would serve zero purpose in survival. It can't provide sustenance, it can't quench thirst, it can't cure ailments. Truly, art is a meaningless endeavor. However, its continued existence would state otherwise. Cavemen had it so much rougher than modern society. No global communication, no medicine, no consistent source of food, and constant predators, but they still found time to create art. Creation is primordial. Regardless of the situation, art is a cry of expression, resonating so deeply within, our ancestors would choose to spend precious energy to create even in the darkest of times. Why do we create, even when all of it has no meaning? The movie Look Back, story written by Tatsuki Fujimoto, follows two passionate creators who inspire each other cyclically. The movie follows two protagonists, Kiyomoto and Fujino, portraying their experience with drawing and art. Fujino starts from humble beginnings, publishing in her school newspaper and receiving habitual praise from her classmates. She was the artist at her school. One morning, Fujino was ready to receive her usual compliments and suddenly realizes another comic in the school paper outshines her own. Irritated by the lack of praise and disrespect she receives, she vows to surpass this mysterious artist.
4年生で私より絵うまいやつがいるなんて絶対に許せない。 よし。
Fujino draws over and over again, alienating herself from her friends and family. She continues to draw to surpass her rival, yet every time Kiyomoto's comics get better and better, and Fujino never surpasses them. Fujino gives up drawing. She puts away the pencils and decides to resume her life she had to pause. Only upon graduation, when she has to deliver Kiyomoto's diploma, she discovers the heaps of notebooks submerging Kiyomoto's house. No one. Fujino notices a blank comic strip and draws an impromptu story. Suddenly, it slips under Kiyomoto's door and eventually manages to get her out of her room. In Look Back, the door motif is everywhere. One of the many interpretations of the door is that it represents an artist never truly knowing the impact they end up having. An artist can hear whispers through the door, but they can never cross it to enter the spectator's mind. That's why, in Look Back, the door is always closed. In a broader sense, the artist can never understand what really goes on in someone else's mind and life. It's the greatest blessing and curse. You can see the effect it plays, but never truly understand the extent. Fujino never understands the extent to which she impacted Kiyomoto. While it is true she had some inkling demonstrated by her hurtful words towards her later in the movie, she never understands how much her silly comics impacted the young Kiyomoto. Regretfully, when Kiyomoto is killed, Fujino finally wraps her head around it by metaphorically entering the door, entering the mind of Kiyomoto. She laments that had she put her time in a useful skill such as martial arts, could she have been the one to save Kiyomoto instead? That would mean foregoing her relationship with Kiyomoto. Would she even mean anything to her? Fujino wouldn't have spent those countless hours together drawing in each other's company. Fujino wouldn't be Fujino, nor Kiyomoto would be Kiyomoto. In the end, she realizes that she can only honor her by drawing, the last connection she held with Kiyomoto. The very thing that inspired each other also brought them apart, yet it now brings solace to Fujino. Creation is a reflection of its creator's desire to seek connection. Connection is a very flexible word. Past, present, and future. That's connection. The people you work alongside, that's connection. Me and you, that's connection. Until Then by Polychroma Studios is a game about seeking interpersonal connections. Our protagonist, Mark, is anhedonic. Despite having a loving and very tight-knit friend group consisting of Riddell, a filmmaker, and Kathy, who is still stumbling to find her place in the world, Mark chooses to live by fulfilling the minimum requirements. Mark is exactly that kind of person. He has a very laid-back and easygoing approach to living, if we can even call it that at all. But this is because he is unable to accept the loss of his mother. The lingering regret causes him to shut everything out. Except for one thing. For once in his life, he puts effort into learning the piano. Mark tries to seek connection with her through her hobby. However, he comes from no musical background, causing him to demotivate himself. He fails miserably at learning the piano. It is only upon meeting Nicole, the new student and coincidentally a former piano star, he begs her to teach him, which she does begrudgingly. Mark is not playing the piano because he loves it. In fact, that love and passion for it comes later down the road when he fully immerses himself into the art. Initially, his reason for playing is connection. He is seeking a connection to his mother, hoping that one day she'd be able to return and hear the piece. This desire then transforms as his feelings for Nicole develop. He is still seeking a form of connection, just instead of his mother being his sole focus, the range broadens. Human emotions are universal, Happiness, sadness, anger, these myriad emotions are all felt at some point in life. But the reaction to an experience, the introspection will differ for everyone. Emotions and events will overlap, they are often shared, but it's the manner of response that branches into the multitude pathways of life. Loss is a guarantee of life. At some point, we will or have all experienced the feeling of losing something or someone precious. Initially, it may be a wave of sadness, tears, but loss is so much more than just crying. It's living through life and encountering signs of once known, the constant reminder that something is forever gone. It's a scar. Though healed, it's an indication of a wound that will never disappear. Living with it gets easier, but perpetually marked. And when loss occurs, it feels as though time has stopped. It feels as though your world has ended. After all, a piece so vital to your own life, a piece of your own story is gone. So then it becomes difficult to write the next chapter. It becomes difficult to imagine your own story without them. The healing process of grief is non-linear. Moving on from something once vital is difficult, and when their influence shaped your identity, when it shaped your existence, as much as they are no longer part of the physical world, it means they are no longer part of your story. Numbed. The pain is enough to leave a bystander frozen, unable to continue the story. But it hasn't stopped. It just feels like it has. In the end, their epilogue is a chapter in your life. Grief and suffering is ephemeral as our lives are. And when you come to realize the fact, wounds will heal but never disappear, forming scars. Yet, what is a scar other than a trace of existence? A fingerprint of presence in this nonsensical world. Those shared mundane moments, those unresolved arguments, those embarrassing moments, those regretful words, however short or long they will exist as a lifetime of memories. And when you come to honor these memories and appreciate the time you had, and you'll slowly feel the breeze in the present, no longer numb, the caress of the mellow sun, and the cool rain trickling down your wrist. Realizing your story, realizing that the world hasn't ended yet. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. So live your life, mundane, rich, boring, exciting, live it. So when you see them again, you can proudly tell them. Let them know of the adventures you embarked on. Let them know the chapters they missed. The world hasn't ended just yet. Keep creating. Art might not provide sustenance, nor quench thirst or cure ailments, but it could very likely lead you to meet the people who can. Creation is not primordial, but connection is, and by extension, creation becomes inherent. Fujino originally started drawing to gain compliments from her classmates. Kiyomoto starts creating inspired by Fujino. Fujino puts in more efforts in hopes of surpassing Kiyomoto. Kiyomoto proceeds to put in even more efforts in hopes of surpassing Fujino. Both artists are chasing each other's ghosts. Fujino's art style always contained a concrete storyline, whereas Kiyomoto's styles follows beautiful sceneries. And until then, the piano performances are played by you, the player. Mark's style is your ability to perform. Our artists have always created what they value. Fujino has always valued her relationships and her appearance among her peers. Thus, her art always contains people. Kiyomoto, having lived more reclusively, observes life through a window, reflective of her sceneries. Mark values the music his mother once played, trying to learn the pieces she loved. Creation breeds connection, and connection breeds creation. Dot to dots to line to lines to meaning, all we end up doing is continuing a stroke drawn from the past into the present. No art is unique, everything is a remake. But by melting and melding, originality is birthed, something that's mine and something that's you. It doesn't resemble his, hers, or another's. It resembles me.